Hello my stitcher friends, it's Natalie and today I have one more special project for you. The spring is officially started and I want to please you with my new embroidery design. It's an embroidered apron with fresh spring flowers in the pocket. It can become an amazing gift for your mom or your friends who like cooking. It's also a good idea for upcycling clothing. You can embroider it on the back of your denim jacket. It can be a cotton dress, linen skirt or shorts. This is my first time stitching on clothing for the last few years, and in this video I will show you some behind the scenes of my process and walk you through everything you need to complete this yourself. I was embroidering on an apron I found in Dollarama. It's 70% polyester and 30% cotton. If you can find 100% linen apron, it would be amazing. You can also sew it by yourself if you know how to do it. Before we dive in, make sure you downloaded this pattern from the link in the video description below, or you can simply leave a comment, apron pattern, and I will reply and give you the link. All the members of my stitching club on Patreon already received this pattern on the 1st of March. So if you also want to be the first who receives anything new I create every month, consider joining my stitching club on Patreon. Learn more about my online stitching community in the video description below. You can find the links to all the materials and tools I used for this project in my PDF pattern, along with the instructions for the pattern transferring and all the basic step-by-step guides. As usual, I made detailed instructions for all the thread colors and stitches I used for this project. Actually, this pattern is simple. It includes only basic stitches you probably already know. Some elements like tulips and forget-me-nots are the same as I made for the blooming heart project. I don't have a recording of my entire stitching process this time because I was stitching it just for myself on my free time in the evening when I was watching TV shows. And here is a little story behind this idea. A few weeks ago I was volunteering in Ukrainian Club of Monton. We were making vareniki, it's a Ukrainian dumplings, for selling them on the next Ukrainian bazaar. All the money collected from it are going to be donated for Ukraine. And I didn't have any apron and I was wearing the one they gave me. I thought like, why I don't have it yet? And it would be perfect if I would embroider it. So next day when I saw a cheap apron in Dollarama, I bought it and instantly started drawing a simple floral design right onto the fabric. I was stitching it in the evening just for myself to relax and calm down my anxiety and thoughts, and it turned out in a beautiful embroidery design. Later I made a post on Instagram and you guys liked it so much. A friend of mine also had such apron and she started embroidering it. By the way, she always told me before that she is not into embroidery at all. She said that now embroidery makes sense for her and she really liked that I started embroidery on the clothing. So this is how I came up with this idea. At the end I added a little butterfly. I noticed a funny thing: when you do such projects, you tend to add more and more details. So sometimes it's important to know when to stop. A tip when you are unsure about shrinking: I recommend wash it before stitching on it, then dip a part of the item in hot water, then dry it with a hot iron set to cotton if it's a cotton apron. If it's a synthetic like mine, better try lower temperatures. The item will look like new, and then feel free to embroider on it. I use my iPad for pattern transferring. All I need is to turn on the guided axis and it's good to go. If it's possible to see through the fabric, I use my heating erasable gel pen. But if the fabric is too thick, there is another option: stick and stitch paper. It's a printable water erasable stabilizer and it's perfect for stitching on clothing, especially if the design is small and simple. This stabilizer is ideal for you if you don't like hand drawing, as you can just quickly print the design without any effort. I don't have a printer, so I will transfer the design by hand. By the way, you need to keep in mind before using it that it can be a bit harder to stitch through it, and there are some other disadvantages. If you want to learn more, please read my article about this method. I left the link in the video description below. The This pattern fits perfectly in a square notch hoop. Number 3. You can resize it for your needs using an original image or when printing this page from the PDF pattern. You might need a hoop stand for your comfort during the stitching process. It will keep the hoop steady and you will have both hands free. You can also twist the parts of the apron that remains around the frame and sew them to the borders of your frame so that they do not interfere with your embroidery. Or you can use 5-6 inches wooden hoop like I did. If you like to stitch keeping a small hoop in your hands, you can move around your hoop from one place to another when you need. I would also recommend to bind your inner hoop so it will not damage your fabric, and try not to leave it hooped when you are done for today, so it will not leave marks on your clothing. You were also asking me to show the back side, so here is how it looks. It's not perfect, I have some knots here and in some places I jump from one object to another. This apron will not come into contact with my skin, so it doesn't bother me, but in case if you want to embroider in something else that will touch your skin, I would recommend to cover the backside with an iron-on stabilizer. I will leave the link in the video description below. Here are some quick advices on how to keep your backside neat and clean. So first, before you begin to stitch on a piece that has definite stitching paths, think about where you are going before you start stitching. Look at the design carefully and decide a reasonable stitching path that will allow you to get the most out of the threads you are using to start stitching with. In your mind, map your path, including where you are going to start, where you are going to stop, estimating about how far your length of thread will take you, and any side journeys you can take care of along the way. This way you will avoid jumping from one place to another, leaving long threads on the backside. The second tip: start and finish the thread without knots. There are many ways to do it, like loop method or running back stitch method, far away knot method. I'm showing those methods in my video tutorials, and if you want to learn more, it sounds like a good topic for a separate video. So if you want me to make it, please let me know in the comments below, and I will add it to my list. And the third tip is don't jump far away. It leaves long stitches on the back side. In my case, I did jumping between those forget-me-not flowers because I didn't want to finish and start the thread over and over, and those flowers are pretty much close to each other. But if in your case your objects are pretty much far away from each other, it's better to finish the thread and start it in another place. Once you get the hang of thinking in terms of stitching paths, starting and ending threads this way, and traveling your threads through the stitches on the back of the work, it becomes a habit. Anyways, if those tips cause you an anxiety for any reason, if they take away the pleasure of stitching, well, do what works for you, okay? Remember, embroidery is supposed to be fun, creative and relaxing pastime, so enjoy it! I hope you liked this embroidery design and it will inspire you to embroider something on your clothing. Don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss my videos. Thank you so much for watching. You might enjoy watching some of those videos I selected for you, so I'll see you in the next one. Happy stitching! Bye!